Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Our guest, Mike Feuer, member of the California State Assembly. And sir, I want to talk about an upcoming election this November. There will be two initiatives on the ballot dealing with taxes. One sponsored by Governor Brown, another by Molly Munger. We'll start with the Governor Brown's initiative. And that would increase tax by a quarter-cent sales tax for 4 years, increase income taxes on high-income wage earners for 7 years. What do you make of this proposition?
It's absolutely necessary. We made tremendously deep cuts in the budget that was recently enacted on the premise that we make these cuts. If the voters vote for these taxes in November, next year our budget not only balances but has a small surplus in it. So the voters will be confronted with a very important choice. Do we fund education? Do we provide basic public safety services or not? And I think the voters are going to say, okay, you've created the conditions for a balanced budget. We will solve that remaining piece by these temporary taxes.
There's some concern that with the legislature recently appropriating money for high-speed rail, that the voters may say, I'm not so sure I want to add more of a burden on the state. I want to get a sense from you what you think about that vote and whether it militates against the tax initiative's passage.
I think when there's a broad public education campaign and voters are made fully aware of what was done on high-speed rail and the importance of balancing our budget through these short-term revenues, they're going to vote for the governor's measure in November.
At the same time, in June of 2012 recently, we had an initiative on the ballot that dealt with cigarette taxes. We're not a smoking state. This is not North Carolina. It's not Kentucky. If there was ever a tax I expected to pass, it would be a dollar a pack tax on cigarette smokers. It lost. Yeah, Mr. Feuer, it lost.
Yes, it did. And it lost with tens of millions of dollars being put up by the tobacco companies. But it also lost because it had the opposition of some major newspapers, including the LA Times. Ultimately, the ballot measure in November is going to enjoy broad editorial support because it's so essential for our kids and for public safety.
But the state has not passed a statewide tax initiative since 2004. In 2009, there was a similar initiative on the ballot. Different time, different governor. It got squashed. It got 35% support.
Different time, different governor, and most importantly, the legislature by that point had not enacted these tens of billions of dollars of incredibly painful cuts because they were so necessary to put our fiscal house in order. There's a balance to this equation, Brad. It's on the one hand, we've made these tremendously deep cuts. We need some short-term revenue as a way to balance our budget, and once we get our house in order with this short-term revenue, California's on the upswing again.
We also know that Molly Munger, a wealthy individual, has put an initiative on the ballot as well dealing with taxes. Right. Her initiative is more, I guess it spreads the pain more broadly, 0.4% to 2.4% income tax hike, something like that. I mean, some could say that's fair, more fair.
Yeah, I'm an advocate of the governor's initiative. Molly Munger is a tremendous advocate for very important causes. I've known her for years and I admire her tremendously. But in this instance, I'm going to side with the governor's approach because I think the governor's approach has the most potential for actually balancing our budget, the most potential to garner support from the public. And I wish there weren't two competing measures on the ballot.
And that's my question to you. I mean, these are two tax measures. People could easily say, I don't want more taxes, I'm confused. Right. No, no.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen this way. The polling that I've seen suggests that the governor's measure is going to win as long as we do an effective job of educating the public as to exactly what it does and the important consequences for schools and public safety.
So you're willing to get out there, put your name on the line for this initiative?
Having voted to make the tremendously deep cuts we've been forced to make, it's important to balance that equation because, look, this is truly one of those moments when our future is at stake. We have to get these revenues.
His name is Mike Feuer, member of the California State Assembly. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thanks for watching Time Warner Cable's Local Edition.